Like,
I would love to see all three of us, our 360 kickflip, like just a compilation.
Like on flat
Boom,
or
boom,
just
whatever
we can
your
find
best
those.
one is.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Go look.
Tim, what's the Bones video we were in together, or were you in that?
Magic. Bones
Yeah, Magic. 360 flip. This is gonna destroy his easily.
What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to the show.
Oh my god! hey, it's Tony Hawk.
We had some technological differences.
Oh man, I hate.
We had to restart the show. We are 5 minutes in, so we're gonna try to recreate all that magic that we just talked about for 5 minutes. Andy Macdonald is here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Third time's a charm. Remember?
Yeah.
So we're
So
good.
you started with.
I said, hey, it's Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
No way, we did doubles the other day. That was cool.
Oh man, you guys are going off. That was sick. Off that. Sick ass.
I'm just thinking that this is my first time on the podcast.
Now Filthy's gone, but I know the guy. See, Tony came to Australia in the 80s, and he got the last of a dying breed. Like they don't say that
like,
anymore.
yo,
They're
bullshit.
more American.
It's a filthy shop. This guy told me once. He goes, I need to get a charger or something, probably for my Discman. I don't know what. And he's like, there's a filthy electronics shop down there. I goes, it's a filthy electronics shop.
That means
It's gross.
Yeah, no, it's real good. I don't know about an electronics shop being that. Like, out of all things that could be filthy, as in
It was
awesome.
like he had to pause.
He was
for,
super
like,
psyched on
it's
it.
filthy.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll go there. I guess
Yeah.
I'll tiptoe around.
I wonder if you guys could do a whole podcast just imitating each other's accents.
No.
Nah, because my Aussie gets bad. He could.
I was watching.
No, I can't.
Cheeseburger.
I went
I could, if we just say
cheeseburger.
cheeseburger the whole time.
Cheeseburger.
I don't know. Do you want a beer or a cheeseburger?
Try to do a Boston accent.
Park the car in the Harvard Yard, dude.
Park a car in the Harvard Yard.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's a little
We
off.
can work on
That's
it.
all I got.
Yeah. I went and saw Jason stand up last night in Pacific Beach, and I was thinking that just hearing you tell the story about when you first came here and your accent was a little thicker, and you would call somebody and like try to order takeout or wherever you had to, or especially numbers.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, give me your number, and you'd say it, and they just have no idea what you were saying, so you had to switch to your fake American accent.
Oh, I've heard him do that at a
to
bar. So you have beer. What? Can I get a beer? Yeah.
Same as
Here
the
you go, bro.
drive-through. If you say anything in a drive-through with just a pure Australian accent, you're not getting what you want. I've had pizza ones where I say five. I go 555, and she goes 292, and I'm like,
That's just
okay,
funny, dude.
five. And like, I'm like, are we real? Like, what happened? Are we so far apart? Because it's English. You know, like I'm saying,
No,
it's got to be close to 5.
I was in France with Pierre-Luc Gagnon,
Yeah.
and he speaks French.
Oh,
It's his
yeah.
first,
Yeah.
but he speaks Canadian French.
Yes.
And we'd go into a shop, and he'd start speaking French, blah, 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 and people would just be shaking their head like, just speak English, it's easier. And he'd be so mad. He'd be like, I speak French, and he'd be saying in Canadian French, and Montreal wasn't cutting it.
If I went somewhere in Australia where they were like, just keep speaking American. We can't understand that weird Australian. I'd be like, you know what, dude? I'm going to headbutt everybody here. Do not tell me that I am not me, okay? It's the one thing I can't. That's my excuse to my kids. Where I'm like, sometimes, like I'm way better now, but I've road rage. Like if you cut me off, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey man, watch it. And if you're like, fuck you, I'll be like, okay.
You go full
Get out of the fucking
Dundee.
car, dude. Yeah, I go full Dundee, and I talk a lot more
That's not a
Australian.
knife.
But I've rectified that through therapy. But my son at one point, because somebody was yelling at a lady at a light, and I wound my window down. And I was like, "Hey man, shut the fuck up!" And he was like, "What are you gonna fucking do about it?" And I was like, "I'll kill you."
I'll do the worst thing.
Yeah, and he's like, "Really?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah." And I open my door, and Tiger goes, "Dad, don't!" And I went straight back to reality, where I was like, "Oh."
Oh yeah, my
And I'm
kid's
like-
in the back
I'm
seat.
like, sorry, dude. Sorry. I'm like, look, a woman is in distress. Dad's not good for many things. This is one of those things where Dad's very handy. But you're right. I don't need to do that. And then I also, from rectifying it, people have like cut me off and I'm like, really, dude? And they're like, yeah. And I go, okay. And then Tiger in the back goes, good job, Dad. It's happened more than once. I get a pat on the back for not challenging people to a street fight. But I try to say that was my excuse is it's like my accent. Like I've been speaking English in America more than I was in Australia. It's just I can't shake all of it.
But when you get mad, do you forget? Like you become more Australian.
It gets more Australian for sure.
When you're.
But it is weird that to us, you still sound Australian.
Yeah.
To Aussies, you probably sound straight.
What happened to you, mate?
Yeah.
What's up with that accent?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you hear yourself, you dumb? And I'm like, okay.
So you're just caught in limbo.
Yeah. That's why Suri doesn't understand me. My wife laughs every time because I tell Suri, hey Suri, call Andy Macdonald.
I'm like, who's he talking about?
She can't even
Suri.
saying
Suri. Sorry.
Siri.
Nah. Suri. Tomatoes.
No, I get it from Boston. People from Boston are like, how come you don't have a Boston accent? And my wife and on the other side, my wife makes fun of me because she's from San Diego and she's like, oh, do you got a Balboa? Balboa Ave, Andy? And I'm like, the fucking Balboa.
See, I feel like Boston people are similar to Australians when it comes to being proud of their
heritage.
Tough guy roots. Like I feel like Boston people came from a breed of I did a movie there once. I love how I just sounded like I'm an actor. But I stayed at the W for 3 months filming Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Right.
So I lived in Boston at the W, but I walked the streets and there would always be people and it's freezing. And I just noticed there was a lot of dudes in Boston that smoked cigarettes with a t-shirt on in the fucking snow.
Yeah.
And I'd be walking by like with a snowboard jacket on. I'm like, ugh, and he's like, what are you fuck? What kind of asshole are you? And I'm like, man, I guess I am. Like, you are way tougher than me. And I can see when tough
Welcome
guys.
to my high school.
Yeah, they don't. Okay.
That's where I grew up.
Which would mean if you don't
even get me started because Tony hates when I talk about having to shovel off the vert ramp.
We actually had that conversation here on the show about you.
Oh yeah, and I wasn't here to represent.
To defend. You didn't need to defend yourself.
Go ahead.
I think it's
you
hardcore.
Walked to school uphill both ways,
carrying hot potatoes in my hands,
barefoot,
and I loved it. We loved it.
Did you really like you lived in a place?
Hey, actually, you know Greg Hunt?
Yep.
So he was here shooting some video stuff the other day for a Lizzie project, and told me that he's from Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And you spent summers in Ann Arbor?
Yeah, I used to spend every summer in Ann Arbor.
And he said that there was one vert ramp in Ann Arbor. This is his version of the story. And not a lot of people skating in those days. Andy was one of the people that lived there in the summer and skated. And he said he would go by this vert ramp, and every day he'd go by the vert ramp. Andy's there skating alone.
Yeah.
Like that.
Thank you.
And then he said that he was competing, and if he knew you were competing, he'd be like, oh, fuck. Because back then it was like hybrid street contests.
Yeah.
Quarter pipes. And he'd be like, Andy's doing kickflip indies in the quarter pipes and inverts and stuff, and he's winning the street event.
Yeah.
My first pro contest victory was a street event.
A pro contest.
And what was your most streetiest move?
Ollie 360 over the
over
the car, the parked car, jump
pretty
fest thing, whatever. I beat Eric Costin.
Okay, that's
Isn't
my
that
story.
weird?
Flex.
I won a street contest in Australia too, but Eric Costin wasn't in it. Jimmy Costin was in it. Maybe
I'm sure that Eric was like same deal, like because Eric was doing hard he was 1994, so Eric was doing like nollie, heel flip, nose slide. But he could only do it every like third or fourth try.
And you were doing vert tricks.
And I was doing vert tricks. I was doing like consistent, off the jump ramp, shove it varials and 360.
It was very original park skaters.
That's right.
Doing vert tricks on the street courses.
Yeah, you really are.
It was the vert course.
You really are the best street vert dudes there are. And when I say street vert dudes, I don't mean, I don't want to be offensive, but I don't mean like Bob Burnquist and Colin McKay, who look like street skaters. Bob, not so much, but Colin definitely looks like a street skater, and he looks like a vert guy.
Yep.
You guys vert skate street courses
and look like it.
But look, as a guy, I've always tried to get in the mix. Like I'm worse than you guys, but I was always like, I'm not sitting here like a cool guy. Like I'll get in there and look like an asshole, but you guys definitely had more talent when it came to that. But it was almost like your talent. The better you were at it, the more I despised you. I don't know about despise, but his tray flip, to me, it was like the funniest joke you ever want to see is his 360.
Oh, right. Now, wait a second. Jeez.
He's
go that far with it.
His feet are too big. He like does this big setup with it. You're like,
setup,
shit,
yeah,
here it comes, everybody.
Right. The setup is
the alarms go off. We're going for a tray flip.
I was gonna say, when we were skating like X Games street events where they would have it at Woodward in their giant quarter pipe, perimeter.
There's a rhythm section.
Yeah, that's where they get you. You're like, ooh, rhythm section, and then all of a sudden there's a handrail in front of you.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
But when we would do that, you'd see us lining up a run. It's like, okay, I got that. I'm gonna jump up from that quarter pipe up to the fence, to tail stall, whatever.
Yeah.
Do a 270 over this hip, and then there'd always be both he and I were guilty of it. There'd always be one kick flip.
You have to have a
spot.
Yeah.
And you see us preparing for it, like, oh man, here we go. Like
it's your 900.
Be a steep bank. Just like, oh, this is
it's
okay.
just,
and you see us
rolling at it, like, here it comes. This is gonna be the one flip trick, and you make it, and you're just like, yes.
I actually skated a contest back then, like around 93, 94, where I went up because I would do 360 flips over hips, but it'd go backside direction.
So it's like a 270 flip.
What's over a hip? So is that 270? Yeah, I guess so.
Yes.
Sure.
Whatever.
Anyway,
it's a 360
I had that
flip.
pretty dialed, but
oh no, backside it's more than a
backside.
360 flip. That's how I would do it
it's
too.
like the way they call it a big spin, but it's not a big spin.
Okay.
Come on, it's a backside 360 flip.
Yeah.
From a vert perspective, and I came up and I remember thinking like, I'm probably gonna miss this. Like, this is super risky. And then I went up at it like this with my fingers crossed, literally with my fingers crossed, like, come on. And then I landed probably maybe the worst one you would have ever seen.
The funniest one you made.
But feet together and just land like, yes. You're right. That was my 900.
I think that's, I had a video part where I did a 360 flip and a frontside kick flip at what's that Ventura skate park called?
Skate Street.
Yeah, where they had a little step up.
Yep.
And I had a trampoline at home in Australia, and I knew
you
how
put a step up in your video part,
dude. I put three tricks on the street course, and it was a kick flip, frontside flip, and a 360 flip. And the 360 flip, like up the step up, like the board landed
bouncing.
It just landed up there with me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a whoop it was just like, hey. But I remember when I came out, like street dudes were like, hey, like
Ellis.
good for you, fucking idiot. Like what the hell was that? I'm like, nah, thing was sick.
That was part of the deal back in the day. Like,
I would love to see all three of us our 360 kickflip, like just a compilation,
like on flat,
boom,
or
boom, whatever your best one is.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Go look.
Tim, what's the Bones video we were in together, or were you in that?
Magic. Bones
yeah, Magic. 360 flip. This is gonna destroy his easily. But it's fun.
Okay.
I think I could do it again though. I think I'm gonna do backside 540, and then I'm gonna transition back to the streets for an Ollie Impossible.
Oh yeah, you still need to get that.
Get a busy schedule.
Got to get that one on the books.
Got a busy schedule.
So Annie and I did a new doubles routine recently that is kind of going, I guess, kind of went viral. Whatever.
It's on the news,
and it made it on Good Morning America.
So gnarly,
which is wild.
Did they tell you that?
No.
How do they?
They just pick it up.
See, I don't understand.
The weird part is that he gets like, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I
saw it in
my
my mentions.
School.
I saw it in my mentions on Instagram when I woke up because I get up at 6:45 with Katie and check my mentions, and then I just see people flashing onto Good Morning America, and I was like, "What is that?"
So he texts me, "I think we're on Good Morning America."
I love it.
And I get a text from Tony that says, "I think we're on Good Morning America." I'm like, Tony's texting the wrong person. Like, like? So I just text back, "That's weird." Thinking like maybe he meant to text this to somebody else.
Yeah,
who would I want to know in what scenario am I texting someone else?
Because I don't know what you do. Like you're all like you could be on Good Morning America.
Me and
like
Kathy, like
you and
hey honey, we're on Good Morning America.
Oh man, I mistaked Annie Macdonald for my wife. That happens. You know,
I want to know.
I do that a lot these days. Like no,
I don't know. Like
Too good to be true is what you thought.
Video game something or other, like 20th anniversary of the video game. I was on Good Morning America. Like, I don't.
So do they want an interview with you guys, or they're just like, no, there you go.
So clearly it aired on the East Coast, and so I went upstairs and DVR'd the West Coast feed, and then after I took my daughter to school, I came back and they showed it. Pretty much all of it.
Did they explain?
They just said, here's a clip, the sports clip of the day. And it's crazy because the Olympics are going on right now. So they got plenty of sports clips to choose from.
Yeah, good point.
They showed pretty much the whole thing and left out the last, like the ender trick.
Oh, the lean rodeo
over the back tail slide.
Yeah.
They left out the banger?
Yeah.
What news people, man? They somehow just don't get it.
I'm watching it like, here it comes. No.
And that was by far the hardest thing that we did. That was
I don't want to bum you guys out, but that was the most impressive move for sure. Manscaped, everybody. Can I get a round of applause, everyone? Start clapping. I'm excited to announce Manscaped has launched their Ultra Premium Collection. Holy bejesus. I don't think that's a word. Believe it or not, it's for you, not your private parts. I'm talking about a level up in hygiene routine for your favorite manly scent. This is an all-in-one skin and hair care. Man, for hair, it's not going to work out for me. Care kit for everyday man that covers you from head to toe. Literally, Manscaped is trusted below the waist. Now trust them for the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code HawkWolf. Got these shavers, look at me. I got no hair. I shave my toes, my legs, my armpits, my beard. I trim it. I shave everything constantly. It's like one of my favorite activities to relax. And Manscaped does it all. They got the nose trimmer. They've got everything, and they all work. As a guy I trim my eyebrows. These guys have everything for all that. So if you have hair and you want to trim it, listen to this promo code, because get yourself 20% off. Free shipping with the promo code HawkWolf at manscaped.com. 20% off, everybody. Free shipping with the code HawkWolf at manscaped.com. The power of attraction is now in the bottle thanks to Manscaped. Yeah, man, Squarespace. Do you have any ideas that are good? Like, for instance, say you had an idea, like myself. I have nipples, and I was thinking about putting faces on my nipples and then making them characters, and then having them do a show where they they watch a movie and then they analyze the movie and they critique it. Like, this nipple is the bad nipple and this one's the good nipple. And the bad nipple says, this is the stupidest movie ever. I got to get graphics, but right now it's just a titty. And then they argue, and it's a great show. It's Titty Talk with Jason's Nipples. And it's a great idea, and it's going to be a great show. And I'm going to need a domain name and a website. How would I do this? How would I achieve? Who would I reach out to that could help me with my titty show? Anyone? It's Squarespace. And guess what? If you've got a better idea than that I find very difficult to believe, but let's say you've got a better idea than that, and you want to get a website, and you want to get a domain name, and you want to get it now before anybody else gets it because it's a great idea. I mean, 2 titties, come on. Here's the code for it. Head to or check out, up to you, whatever way you want to do it, squarespace.com/HawkWolf, as in the podcast that we're on. And that's a free trial, everybody. When you're ready to launch, use the offer code HawkWolf to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or a domain. ShipSpace. Wait, Squarespace. Wow. I hit my head a lot. Squarespace. Thanks for sponsoring the podcast.
When we first went to try that, we didn't talk about this, right? This time
I don't
on
know,
this
dude.
reset.
No, we haven't. This is the first.
So when we first tried it, it was his idea, and I was trying to figure out how to sneak under him because there's not a lot of room there. And when he flips, he really does flip it. Like,
yes, he does.
It's not a flat spin. So the first time we tried it, I got past him, but then I felt something hit my back, and it hit so hard that I thought it was him. And
did it knock you off your board?
It just knocked me forward, like into a extreme knee slide.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you're on a knee slide, it's like, oh, geez, and you fall onto your stomach, basically.
It's pretty much every slide.
And so I was like, I was like, we're not doing that.
So he stands up like, oh, we're not doing that. And I was like, I knee slid down. I missed my grab, but I didn't know my board had hit him.
Yeah.
And I knee slid down and he got under me. So I was like, oh, maybe that's possible. Because this is very first try. Like, let's just try it and see if we can not kill each other.
Yeah.
And we, as far as I knew, got out safely. And I knee slid down. He's like, we're not doing that. I was like, what? Why? What? Like,
and he said, because you hit me.
Right.
Because you fell on my back.
Right?
And then you had to explain to him
and I was like,
you
no,
didn't.
I didn't just land on you. That was my board. Sorry. I'll hold
I
on
love
to my
how
board next time.
it wasn't Andy that hit you. It was Andy's board. And then Tony's like, oh, well, then we could probably make it then. Like,
I was still
hit
a little hesitant. I was like, please get a hold of your board.
It's weird. I would have thought the harder job would be him going over, but to know that you could get stabbed in the back.
Because of the way I flip, like, it's amazing that Tony could figure out after and it took probably 8 or 10 tries to figure out. He had to go because
he has to go under when your board's above your
head.
Right.
Exactly. Because I flip over, if he doesn't go under at the right time,
he's gonna hit.
He's gonna hit. My knees are gonna hit him, or my head's gonna hit his back.
Oh wow.
So
that would really.
I'm not the most astute backside tail slider either.
I thought the one you did was better than your average.
No, I'm just saying I don't have them on lock for the most part. So I had to dig deep and figure it out every single time.
Right, because if he makes it and you don't, you've ruined it.
That happened.
Oh, you made it and he didn't make it.
I think not on that trick. I think that's definitely happened before, but on that trick.
Oh, we were just waiting for you to make it.
Yeah, and you can see in the video I make it because of the way I rotate and I throw my head back, he goes under me, sneaks under me, and then I can start to look for my landing, but he's still under me and I can't see my landing until he slides out of the way.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, and we did that a number of times until I was just finally like, okay, I just have to trust that he's going to make it and then I'm going to be in the right spot. And I just did once. I was like, okay, this is it. And I threw it down and I landed and you see me come across the flat bottom. He's like, yeah. And I'm like I put my hands on my helmet, like that just happened. Like I couldn't believe that I just was like, okay, I'm going to put it down now. And we did it. And I'm still like this standing on the other deck, like, wow.
Do you guys do doubles with other people? Like, obviously, is it you guys when you do doubles together?
It's in our contract.
The most,
we're not allowed to.
Is it the most safe feeling for you? Because it seems like you two work together better than any other two skateboarders.
Well, there's a few things that we can plug someone else into, where it's like, look, just go high, straight up and down.
Yeah. Oh, the triple things that you make up. Yeah.
Like we know exactly how to time that, no matter who it is.
Right.
And they just have to trust that we'll do it. Other times, it's been a little dicey, but it's people who are experienced. Like when we did the thing with Lincoln, triple 360 varials.
Yeah.
That was super gnarly. And we skated with Lincoln on all the Huck Jam tours, so
he knows the deal
of how to figure that out.
It is weird.
That was the first triple stack where everybody's in the air. Because usually you do a triple stack.
Yeah.
2 guys are in the air, 1 guy.
Yeah, I was barely in the air.
You did a 360 varial like
at coping.
And I had to do it.
That's way harder.
Wait, that's what I said. I said that. I was like, I have the hardest job.
I'd rather do the 8-foot-1. That's so gnarly.
No, there's definitely, we've been skating doubles long enough that we have this we've developed kind of a sixth sense of out of your peripheral, you can know where he is and where, like, timing wise, how to adjust. Like, I remember we were on Huck Jam one year and we're trying to get Sean White into this routine that we were choreographing, and Sean kept going too high.
Why he was shaking your head?
It was difficult.
He just kept Sean he knows snowboarding, he knows pump, go as high as you can. And it's way more nuanced than that. Like, because we're doing 10 and 15 wall snakes and there's BMX and motorcycles flying over your head. Like, if you're not in the right place at the right time, you could get landed on.
Yeah.
And we're like, Sean, your timing's off. Instead of that backside air, do a body jar. And Sean's like, what's a body jar? And I remember Tony just shaking his head like, forget it, Sean. Just blast. Just keep going high. We'll figure it out.
We'll work around it. We'll work around you.
Sean.
They don't have they don't have snowboard body jars.
I'm so insulted.
Body jar is one of the crucial elements to doubles.
Because you can slow your speed down.
Yeah, because if you're doing airs together and you realize that you're a little bit ahead, that body jar will get you right where you need to be.
Oh, wow. So sometimes if your timing's off, one of you will do a body jar to slow down for the other. Man, you guys are... It makes sense. Like as I'm listening to
even
you,
within that body jar, you can do a body jar where you're like, how you do a body jar, you can do a quick one, or you can be like, and then just pause, just a heartbeat. Just
the thing that sucks about that is if you have to stall a body jar, you lose all your speed.
I was gonna say, at least I know that part.
But it was fun doing that because we did all those X Games and stuff. We had routines. We have like our default routines that we do demos with, and then we had the X Games, like the harder.
Do you know a certain amount of routines right now? Like you go, hey, do this one.
Do that one.
We know one for sure. It was like Old Faithful.
It's Old Faithful. Like you literally be like Old Faithful, and he's like, yep.
There's one.
You want to hear it?
There's one that we did. Like I do Indy 360 in this Old Faithful run. I do an Indy 360 under his backside ollie or 540.
Backside ollie.
Backside ollie out of a 540. So we both do synchronized 540s, and then I do an Indy 360 under him. And when we put that line together, I just learned Indy 360s, and I can't to this day do an Indy 360 any higher than this high because I learned them and immediately started going under Tony on a backside ollie. And I just never, and I blame Tony for that.
Good.
We tried to recreate this one doubles from X Games. And there's a 720 in it. And I struggle with 720s now. I didn't formally announce it, but I kind of did what I think is probably my last one.
Okay.
Not long ago. And so this one came up and I was like, dude, I don't think I got the 7. And he's like, I got it.
I think you said you got it. And I was like, because I've never done a 720 over. Because I was like, there's a 720. Tony was like, let's recreate that line. Let's do it. It's, it was the doubles line
I know
we did from 99.
I said you got it. And then we came to the ramp and I was like, I might be able to do it. And then
I was like,
you're like, no, I think I want to do it.
Yeah. Because I was hyped up to do it. And then Tony's like, you want to
try
one?
Indy 3 under it.
It's a shitty Indy 3. Funny to hear.
I mean, the lower Indy
but I remember like, because I do 720s still like in demos or whatever, but I used to do them like in the warehouse by myself all the time, like just because I had to do it in contests. I had to have it that consistent. And now I have to have a reason to do a 720. And this was the reason, but I'd never done it over anybody. And Tony was like, well, you want to try one? Just like, and I was like, no, we're going to do it in the run. And I'm going to just like first one of the day. And I failed the first one, but we made the second one. Second try, we made that whole line. And it was just like, there's something about, there's twice the chance that somebody's going to fall, but there's also like, you don't want to be the guy that falls in a doubles line or whatever. So there's that extra
especially
pressure.
If they make it.
Yeah. And then there's the remembering the line. Like when we used to skate doubles competitions, you always have two runs, and everybody else would have two tries at a single line. They'd make a single line and they'd have two tries at it. Tony and I would make two separate runs and just assume that we're going to make them both.
Yeah.
So 98 X Games, I remember because it was in San Diego and I had just bought a house and my wife had just moved in. My soon-to-be wife had just moved in, and like it was like this like super like
it up.
It was like was that the year we did like I forgot the line.
I was gonna
in the middle.
No, wait. Let me give my perspective. This is my experience. This is my truth. I go to the ramp.
Yeah.
Everyone's practicing. It's doubles practice.
Yeah.
I'm alone.
I'm late.
Where the fuck is Andy? Like, where is
he?
Andy?
You don't usually do that.
Because he's at his new house. And he's like, he's too excited. And that house is as close as you can get to the X Games.
Like, you could almost see, like it was in Point Loma, and the X Games was in Mission Beach. It was at the top.
I would leave that out if I was you in this story.
Yeah. So
you're just saying you were like,
oh my
fuck
God.
it.
And people at some point are joking, like Bob and Bucky are like, dude, you gonna skate alone?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's fucked up. No,
and so then
I'm
he
sorry
shows
I
up.
left you hang, but
hold on. He shows up. This is
and then
we take like a warm-up run.
Yeah.
Literally, we don't even practice the line because it's about to start. And then we're about to drop in. I was
fuck,
like,
Andy?
I know.
Out of all people to be that late for a contest in the X Games, I can't believe that's two things I never thought
I said
would
something
happen.
like,
you were like, oh, make sure you know. No, I said, hey, because I wasn't quite clear. I was like, hey, Tony, what's we're about to drop in. Like, they're like, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Hawk, Andy Macdonald. We click our boards out. And I'm like, hey, Tony, what's after the alley-oop?
Dude.
He's like,
oh, I go, there's no alley-oop.
Yeah, there's no alley-oop in this line.
And then I'm like this, like, wait, what just happened? And we drop in. We did maybe 4 tricks.
Yeah.
And popped out.
Oh, you popped out
because I could tell he was not doing.
He didn't know what was going to happen.
I was completely blowing it.
Did you get it back the second run?
We got it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in qualifiers. Then we did the second run and qualified and went on to win. And it was all okay. But
there was a lot of anticipation for us to be there.
Yeah.
It might have been like the first or second time.
It was the second
time they were doubles. So we're supposed to be the defending champs.
Yeah.
And drop in just.
It was like 90. It was 1998. So in 90,
show up that late.
In 95, Tony won the X Games. In 96, nobody knew who I was, and I won the X Games. 97, Tony won. 98, I won. And now, and in 97, we started doing doubles. So like literally, I remember doing an interview for USA Today, and they were like, you guys are rivals. Like, what do you mean you're doubles partners? Like you're team, but you're rivals. You're like, people couldn't wrap their head around the idea that we were friends and like that we weren't just enemies, like, oh, I hope he falls or whatever. And then we were
just
teaming
because
up.
That's how ESPN portrayed it.
Yeah.
You should have just made that up. You should have gone with it. Yeah, can't stand the guy. Tell him he's dead.
Was that the year that we did the
shoot my board into him during
Andy
the
Macdonald says Tony Hawk is dead. I would watch that contest.
That'll teach you for being late.
So that whole year, because I was in like this euphoric, like I met my wife, I'm gonna marry her, like I got a new house. We had a housewarming party, and I just got a trampoline. First time I had like besides spending money on the house, but I had like 4 roommates, Rhino and Preston all moved in with me so I could afford this house. The first thing I bought when I had money wasn't a car, it was a trampoline. It was like an $8,000 trampoline, and I put it in the backyard, and there was a deck over the back of it, like up on the next story. And we were at this housewarming party, and Tony and I are like leaning on the railing, like, and I started looking at it, like, you could jump from here, huh? And Tony's like, nah. This was like the day before the X Games or whatever. Tony's like, nah. I was like, yeah, I think I got it. And just hop over the railing, land in the middle of the trampoline, and then bounce once and into the yard. Just on my head. Tony's just like, dude, we have to skate doubles.
You didn't get hurt.
You're half of the team. It's
yeah. I'm sorry that I blew it, dude. All these years later.
Super late, but whatever.
Fuck. Hey, man, you apologized to me 20 years later.
Yeah.
It's never too late. It's never too late to make things right.
I'm glad you accepted it.
I won't let you down.
Okay. No, it did put crazy pressure on us to make a qualifying run, but we did it.
I was going to say, you guys.
I think what happened, I remember what happened after that, because you were so confused. You and I dropped in after every single person's run.
And like
to
got our line
practice
together.
Our line again until we finally got it. We were like fully, if you watch the feed or whatever it is that you see, as soon as someone pops out from the runs, we're like, going in.
You were doing pieces of the doubles ride.
Yeah.
Right.
In between people's runs.
Tony was just trying to ram it into my head.
I
like,
know
this is what we're doing, you idiot.
I know you're late, but how come you just forgot the line?
I was just like, because we had
hopped up on trampolines?
No, because we had two lines, and I was getting the 2 lines confused.
Oh, okay.
But you know what?
Because I'm a moron.
The thing is, the reason I remember it so vividly, and I'm not harping, it's funny, but that he would never do something like that.
Yeah, I know.
That's why, you know what I mean? Like, this guy is always on time, always reliable. We're doing doubles. He's right where he needs to be.
When I need to be there. And
yeah.
This whole weekend was like, it was like, I won the vert singles and then messed up, but we ended up winning the vert doubles. And then I was in street as well. And I ended up getting a silver medal in street, having fallen asleep in the athlete tent before my run. I was just Rocky
Marciano used to do
on
that.
The downward spiral.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, Rocky Marciano slept before he fought. Like he would take a nap before he went out. He was literally. I'm like, how do you make your brain let you go to sleep before a fight? Like
somebody came in and was like, Andy, they're calling your name. And I was like, huh? Well, I was like, the athlete tent that has like the snacks and stuff on it, whatever. I was laying on that table next to the fruit and the.
It's funny.
Bars and
around that
somebody
time,
came in like, Andy, you're up. Like, go. And I ran out and did my street run and got silver medal.
I did the same thing. It might have been the same X Games where I was out all night and partied my brains out, and then I had to announce something at X Games, and I was so tired that I accidentally fell asleep underneath a quarter pipe on the street course.
in view or out of view?
Out of view.
And nobody could find you.
And then nobody could find me, and then somebody finally found me yelling, "Jason, you're supposed to be somewhere." And then I ran in there and did some announcing.
How you guys do that stuff, man.
Yeah,
that was remember along those same lines, Donnie Barley out all night, whatever, and then did his street run and then just like was puking all over the street course as he rode off. Like did it, but he was still drunk and just
Oh yeah. I've saw people, especially in those days, I saw people come off their runs and barf just out of nerves.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're just like so hyped up, and then they finally released it and then just let it fly.
Wow. I've vomited from training a lot, like especially if I haven't trained for a while and then I train as hard as I was before I took a break. I was used to it. It would be guaranteed first day back, I'm vomiting because your body's not used to having your heart rate
that's
up.
like a physical thing. Like I would vomit like if I ran wind sprints in
so it didn't scare me because I knew what it was.
Yeah.
But
it's a different thing to be like nerves. Like
that one would scare me.
Dude, I watched you do stand up last night and I was like, fuck that. Like there's no way. There's like there's all these people in this room and this little stage, and the stage you were on last night was gonna fall down.
Yeah, it kept wobbling on me. I was
no
like,
way.
Everyone else made it be lighter or something, but for me, I was like, it
was sketchy.
Some of my material was about me potentially eating shit on this stage because I was like, every couple of times I'm like, what the fuck? It was wobbling.
But that's to me, that's the scariest thing. Like I get nervous about competition or whatever, but it's something that I know I can do or I have done before, and whether I do it, and you get to a point where like I'm going to try my best, and if it doesn't happen, there's another contest next week or whatever.
You do get used to it. Like I feel like I was a lot more nervous until I did. Whitney Cummings cured my nerves. Like,
oh yeah, you weren't nervous last night when you walked out?
It was 1,300 people, and I was nowhere near good enough to be there. And they're like, yeah, you go 15 minutes. And I'm like,
right.
I remember being backstage going, oh my God, this is so weird and nerve-wracking to the point where now I don't get as nervous. I get cold. I'll feel a little cold before I do my set. And then when I get off stage, I'm warmer.
That's your blood not circulating.
Right.
Before a contest, I'll get so that my hands get tingly because the blood's not pumping into my hands.
And why is that? What's your brain doing?
Because your brain's shutting down. You're so nervous and your butterflies and everything. Your brain's shutting down so that your blood isn't. You can shake them out, whatever. But if you really just try to relax or go talk to someone, for me, if I went and talked to somebody and just like didn't matter what you were talking about, as long as it wasn't. Hope I don't fall on the fucking kickflip Indy, whatever. It was just like it would relax me enough that the blood would come back to my hands. But I've fully dropped in before, not being able to feel my grabs for the first like 4 or 5 grabs, and then it comes back. And then once you're on stage, you're like, and then you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just practice. Like I feel like there's a certain amount of nerves that once you've been there, then the rest. I just feel like I'm never going to be thrown into a gauntlet that hard again. So like the room, I could tell some of the people that were before me, nobody was laughing. That's harder. Like when you see someone do stand up and everyone in there.
You mean last night or
last night?
Last night. Like,
last night was a hard room. There wasn't that many people.
Yeah. And
that seems like
you don't want to laugh too much because people like look at you for laughing too much.
Yeah.
So people are trying to be
the one guy or whatever.
All right. So those ones are always like, I'm a little bit nervous about that. But like I said, those other ones, I've been shocked. That shocked me so hard that I'm like, don't laugh at me. I mean, 60 people, go ahead, don't laugh. The big stage thing with it. And that's the thing, when you said talk to someone, I can do it now, but for the first couple of gigs, I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to say.
Right, you're just like going
so if I talk to
you,
because I'm basically for an hour before the gig, I'm like, I'm say that, and then I'm supposed to say that. Wait, when do I say that? Okay, then I say that. So if you go, hey man, how you doing? I'm like, don't fucking talk to me.
Right.
I'm trying to do my routine in my head.
That's us doing skate routines for sure in our head.
Except for that one year.
That's right.
Forgot.
Have you ever done doubles?
Was that the year that we did? We flew F-18s too, and then the guy.
I believe so. Yes.
Have you ever done doubles with somebody and like Shaun White where they say some stuff where you're like, I should probably not do this doubles? When you go, you going over, and they go, I'm going under, and you go, what? No.
Tony and I haven't had any like crazy. I mean, when we were doing this last line, I was doing the Howie slide, body barrel lip slide under his McTwist, and I was late and I knew it, but I tried to do it anyways, and he landed, like hit the back of my head as I nearly slid on. His shin,
it's in that clip.
His shin as he came around on a 540 because he didn't know he was going to hit me because he's just spinning his 5.
I kind of knew though because I knew you weren't there when I took off.
Yeah.
And as I'm spinning, like, this is not good.
I knew it was going to be close.
When I come down, I don't know what I'm going to see, but I know it's not going to be the ramp.
I knew it was going to be close, and I thought I could just sneak under, and he hit the back of my head, and then like just gave me one of those. And then the next few times we dropped in, as I dropped in, I still felt like I was getting hit in the back of the head. It was weird.
Yep, that's bad.
Yeah, but for sure, I've done doubles with kids where I have to, because they ask me, can you do something? And I'm like, just do what you're doing. Whatever I saw you just do that. And I will get over you. I'll be there, but do not veer from that.
Yeah.
I did doubles with this. Oh man, we did this demo a couple years ago in Brazil. And there's this older dude there that is a legendary vert pool skater.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I don't remember his name, but everyone knows him. Like he was skating our demo, and when he dropped in, the old school crew was like, yeah.
How old are we talking?
He's definitely in his 50s, maybe late 50s.
Okay.
Still does inverts and stuff. And he really wanted me to do an air over his invert.
Okay.
He would not do the invert in the same place every time. I'm talking about like 4 feet this way, 4 feet this way. He had a setup for it, and then he would just do it. And I was like, dude, you got it. Like, because at one point,
pick a spot.
I'm coming up,
and he's
right here, and I'm gonna land on his board.
Yeah.
I mean, I managed to throw it away and bail and stuff, but there was like,
was this a misunderstanding going on? Like, how do you not know?
Lost in translation.
He'd never done doubles.
All he knows is he's doing an invert, and I'm going over him.
But what about? All I know is I'm going to do an invert on that piece of coping, not
at some point.
Anywhere.
At some point, I think that I told him where to do his setup, and that's what finally changed it.
Tell the Mike Frazier doubles story, like live TV.
It wasn't doubles.
It was just like
it was. Oh man!
Wait, what happened?
Anyway,
funny story.
For that story, finally we got the right spot and we survived
and didn't hit each other.
And didn't hit each other, but it was super dicey because he was not going to take no. Because at some point I was like, I don't think we should do it.
Oh wow! And he was like,
no,
we
can't
do
hit the spot. And he's just like, no, this is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then by then all the old Brazilian crew is like, come on.
Oh wow!
So we figured it out. But for Frazier, we should just have Frazier in here. So Frazier has crazy stories, but we were doing live TV in Germany. There was some show that they do at the beginning of summer, and it's like a live entertainment show. It was called Summer in Deutschland, and OMD was there playing live, which we thought was super cool because we're like near a big band at the time. Skating was still pretty underground, and they built a half pipe for us, and Titus had set it up, so he drove us to there to do it. It's me and Mike Frazier, demo, vert, live, TV, all of Germany.
Just
live.
Two guys.
2 guys.
Any locals join the club or
No.
just 2 guys?
2 guys on vert ramp. We have, I think,
So
5
every now and
minutes.
then you're just.
I think we have 5 minutes of live TV. Right?
Oh.
I drop in, do a full contest run, at least 45 seconds, probably like 50 seconds.
Yeah.
So tired. Pop out. Frazier drops in. Frontside air, misses his board.
Tony has to drop
And I'm
in
like,
straight away.
dude. Oh,
Again.
to go straight back in. I had 10 seconds of rest.
And did you try? You did another.
I did another run, yeah. While he climbed back up the stairs. I think
You had to run
I
up
waited
and get
till I
his board.
saw him on the deck
Yeah.
and then popped out again, and then he went and we got it done. But
I remember that story, but I thought, wasn't there one where like, okay, you're gonna go over, whatever, and you just both went frontside airs into each other?
oh yeah, well I did that. Yeah, I think that happened with Frazier. That also happened with what's his name? Damn it, New Zealand dude, giant dude,
Lee Ralph.
Lee Ralph.
You did. Oh my God!
Ralph-
You hit Lee Ralph in a
Lee
run.
Ralph and I-
Ralph.
Lee Ralph is like, let's do doubles. Okay,
Yeah.
we were in Auckland.
He's the
doing
worst
demo.
guy to ever ask
Hastings.
that. Yeah.
He asked me.
Yeah. He's like, hey man, I want to kill you.
I go, okay,
let's do over under.
I'll do front seat. Are you going? He's like, yeah, like not listening to me at all.
Yeah.
Drops in. I can see from his pump.
He's going for it.
He's going for it. We collided in midair.
Oh my God.
But luckily we're going kind of the same trajectory.
Yeah.
So we just fell together and he's just kind of like, what happened?
I did that.
Dude,
You're supposed to go under.
I did that to somebody in Melbourne. The Paran ramp used to be pretty big snake sessions. And this person, ended up being a pretty big pro skateboarder. He passed away, but he was a crazy little dude. And he was just like, nah, fuck you, Jace. I'm going to muscle you out of this shit. And I was like, I'm not moving. And we both did frontsiders towards each other.
Yeah.
And I saw that he was going to do it. And I was like, I don't care, dude. So I was in the air. And when he came towards me, I put my arm on him as I reached him and pushed him out of the way. So he fell to the flat. It was like, boom, on the ground. What the fuck? Why'd you do that? I'm like, you tried to ram me in a frontsider. Like,
and you made your frontsider?
No.
No,
because
I both just bailed.
Yeah,
Whatever.
but he, like, I knee slid and he landed on the ground over there and like exploded.
It's hard, like when you make contact because you're,
it bumps everything off.
Yeah, in competition, like a couple times, Tony and I have made contact, and you got to stay on. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing a backside ollie.
Oh yeah.
And Tony had a backside lip slide under me, opposite way, and I had bottom dropped the air before. Whatever, my backside ollie wasn't high enough, and he's doing a backside lip slide, and so he wasn't going fast enough. He wasn't getting out of my way. I'm in a run in the X Games. And I'm waiting for him. I get to the height of my backside ollie. I'm waiting. He's still not past me. So I just grab his back and I shoot him down the line. Like, he's doing a backside lip slide. Now he's doing a faster backside lip slide.
Like you made it.
Nitro boost
Both
back lip. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
you made a backside ollie pushing somebody.
Pushed him out of the way so that I could land. And he made it faster back. And he's like, I got more speed.
The thing on my back. I was like, ew, that's not good. And then I started going faster. And I was like, okay.
It's on.
You just got to make it.
Jesus.
But to answer that, yeah, it's super hard when you get to people who just aren't familiar with it and can go into a panic mode. And I always tell them, like, look, just do your thing. I'll adjust for it if it's not right, or I'll pop out. Like, I'm not, I don't want to get hurt either.
Yeah.
I'm not invincible.
It is just weird when someone's at a certain level to not understand the concept at all. That one always scares me. And especially there was a pretty vague person when someone just says, I'm going over. And I'm like, I for sure said the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And we're standing in front of each other. Like, I don't know if I want to do this with that rebuttal. Like you're trying to kill me.
The thing that no one gets, especially if they set out to do it, and I know we're just focusing on dubs, but there's a thing where if you both drop in together and someone's going higher, whoever is going lower is going to start getting ahead, or whoever is going under. And no one, like very few people realize that they have to adjust for that. So by the time they're doing 5 walls, one guy's like way over here and they're trying to figure out how to cross.
You're just going to hit each other.
And you're just going to hit each other. And I saw these Japanese kids were here and they were trying to do this doubles thing. And one was going way lower than the other one. And by the time they got to the air they're going to cross on, they were head on, like
one guy's coming up and one guy's going down
every time. And I'm trying to tell them, like, no, you need to go later. And they didn't, lost in translation.
Yep.
Until they finally made one where they almost killed each other, but they made it and they thought that was successful. And I was like,
as I said, when you get that good and you're still that dumb, it really blows my mind because I'm not that good, but I remember doing
that. It's just
doubles.
I think it's just more that you're not used to skating with people. And then you think that the physics are such that if you drop in together, you're going to stay together.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's not it.
No, that's why you'll often see Tony and I, like, whoever goes over once or maybe twice, but then they slow down and the other guy gets speed such that
that's how you keep it going.
Yeah, and it makes it more fair. So no one's like, I'm the guy. Right.
That's the magic.
Inverts, body jars.
I just watched.
I didn't know body jar could slow you down, but it does.
I just
make
watched
sense.
one of ours on X Games, and I think it might have been that same one with the back lip, but I get ahead and I watch me do an invert and wait.
Yeah.
So sick.
I was like, man, I was good at that.
I remember doing doubles with you with the microphone, the Madonna microphone on my face.
On the Huck Jam.
Yeah, and totally wanting to say, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, I would do it for him. I would just clearly say, don't do it. if I'm that far off, I'm like, I got a microphone. You're going to hear me. So I'm like, don't do it. And then we're safe. But every now and then when I'm like, it's going to be close, but we're going to go.
But you don't want to say anything.
Yeah. And I'm like, I know this is there. So it's kind of in my head a little bit. I'm like, don't say fuck or anything like that, But I've done things where I land a little low and I've got to go over him. And I'm like, we'll make it. And then it's like, I'm like, oh shit, but you can't say, oh shit. You got to go, yeah, everybody. There was a few times there where I feel like I was in the back there looking at you and I was like, you just tell him pull out. Like tell him no do. But
Kevin and I used to have a routine. We should have talked about it when Kevin was here, but Kevin and I used to have a routine that was like our kind of old faithful that we could do as well.
Yeah.
But we always do it on this ramp. And so we always have plenty of speed.
Oh, okay.
We were at Kona, I think it was for their 40th anniversary, big event.
Yeah.
And they have a vert ramp
It's a bit
that's slower.
Yeah.
And Kevin and I drop in and do the thing. And I wasn't really considering that Kevin wasn't getting that much speed, but he went to lean over me and he was maybe 2 feet out. And his butt hit my head so hard that my teeth clacked together and knocked my front tooth out.
His butt knocked your teeth out.
His butt hit my top of my head, my jaw clamped together, and then my tooth was just dangling. And I was like, are you serious right now?
It's a real friend. You guys have been through a lot. Just to know that you guys always hang out. And at one point, he put his anus on your head and smashed your teeth out.
that was Kevin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you guys hang out.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
all is forgiven. It's okay.
Yeah. For a minute, I would not be pumped on that.
That was one of the first
I'd be like,
times.
Who does doubles and does a 2-foot air involved?
Yeah. Same thing happened with Thorne. Where
Thorne, you hit a BMX.
Thorne thought he was going to go over me and just did not have enough speed and we just collided. He got the worst of it.
Yeah, because his bike would have tangled him.
Oh, he got
doubles.
He hit me and he got pitched out to the flat.
I remember when I hurt Matt Hoffman. I think it was at Burnside when I was jumping over the hip and he came jumping over the hip the other way at me, and he just instinctively ejected to get out of my way. And Matt, not a great dismounter. So he just catapulted off into the street course and was like, boom, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. He's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like,
another day in the life of Matt Hoffman.
No.
Yeah, that was
doubles with BMX is a whole different
right.
deal. We were on Huck Jam first year, and we're in practice. We used to have the ramp up in San Bernardino in this airplane hangar, and we're practicing everyone's just, like the beginning of the day just starts with everybody brainstorming, like, what could we do? And then work it into a routine. And so me and Kevin Robinson and Lincoln Ueda were thinking, let's do the first ever quadruple stack. Let's do a 4 stack. And
guess who's low?
Oh, no.
And Tony's going to be the low guy. And it's going to be Kevin Robinson blasting on a BMX bike, Lincoln Ueda, then me, then Tony. And the timing is such that it's just like Tony was saying, like the guy that's going the highest the timing has to be perfect because,
everyone goes off of him.
Right.
Right.
And so so Kevin, Lincoln, and I do it. It's like 9:30 in the morning. Right.
Yeah.
And Tony hasn't even padded up yet. He's still got his coffee in his hand. And we do it once. We do a triple, as far as I know, the first ever triple stack all in the air.
Yeah.
Right. Kevin, Lincoln, me. And I'm still like 4 feet out because Lincoln's blasting 7 and K-Rob's above him. And it worked. And we're like, oh, sweet. And my timing was all off Lincoln. Right.
Okay.
And so we did it once. We're like, yeah, high fives. Okay. Tony rolls up. We're like, Tony, what do you think of this? Let's show him. Let's do it again. And we'll show him. So Tony's standing on the side of the ramp and we're like, do you think you could go under this? And Kevin Robinson rolls in, big air. Lincoln drops in just a beat off, just a half a beat off, a little bit late. And I'm timing off of him. So now I'm a full beat late because I'm third in line to go. So by the time I'm approaching my air, Robinson's already.
I was in that one.
You're in it?
I in it. Yeah, I was. I remember.
We got you to go?
I remember riding away and seeing the chaos.
Oh no! Wait, you hit him.
I'm still going up, and Kevin Robinson is coming down. His front tire is about to hit my back, and I remember seeing him. I'm going like this, and I remember seeing him going, trying to like pull his front tire.
Yeah. He's not bailing either.
He's not bailing.
That guy, yeah.
I've seen that
And
guy.
so his front tire hits my back and luckily like pushes me out of the way into the flat bottom, and he just annihilates himself. His shoulders, when Robinson was like working out all the time, whatever, he would have just smeared his shoulder off, but he just like wham, just like, hip checked the flat bottom. And I remember Tony just like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're just like, you think you can go into that, Tony?
Also, I had to carve so much that I flew off the ramp. So in that same attempt, I have to arc.
And you're trying to
everyone,
and you want to get away from
and
Kevin
Lincoln
Robinson.
is going backside, so he's going the same direction as me.
Oh, right.
So he's got to land close
so it was
to you.
this. It was this. It was two people going that way, two people going that way.
So I know that I've just got to be the widest arc, and we're only on one panel of the ramp. So when I did it, I rode off the flat.
That's why I remember you on the side of the ramp.
Yeah, and then I watched.
I remember Tony just standing on the side of the ramp, like, yeah, we're not doing that. And I was like, no, but we could, except that Kevin.
Man, I don't know who
let's put it this way: we're not doing that every night.
Right. I don't know who I talked to about this recently, but trying to explain that BMXers don't bail, and I base it off Kevin Robinson nose diving on a huge air at some demo, and I was like, get off, and he had his hands on the grips when his head hit the ground. And I'm like, you gotta eject at some point.
No, they just go down with
they
the
do.
shit.
Right?
Kevin he was
know.
a warrior, man. He was so gnarly.
I agree. Yeah.
Do you remember Dennis McCoy in practice
for Olympics?
No, in Hakchiam. We were just practicing one day, and Dennis came up, did like a 8 or 9 foot air. Something went wrong, and he bailed the bike.
Yeah.
And
which
for us would be the easiest scenario.
Oh, he took a huge slam knee sliding?
He starts running like he's like a cat thrown off a building, and then just down and all the skaters are there like, what is wrong with you, dude?
Yeah, you have knee pads on.
He has knee pads on.
Yeah.
I don't know, knee slide, dude.
Have you not seen what we do with that?
Every time. Yeah, no.
I don't know how to do that.
I thought you were going to say about Dennis McCoy, we were doing doubles, triples mayhem for the closing ceremony of the 96 Olympics.
I love how you instantly know the story. Okay.
Oh, there's a good story that we'll dig up from this, but go ahead.
So the choreographer is the same guy that choreographs like Michael Jackson and what's his name?
Wait, you had
Ortiz.
a choreographer for skateboarding?
Yeah. Yes.
You guys couldn't do it yourselves?
This is because this is a multifaceted, like there's inliners, BMXers, mountain bikers, the ramp during commercial break, this giant ramp gets put together in 3 minutes by like 100 people run it out into the middle of this arena with 80,000 people on live TV at the closing ceremonies. So it's like, it's a big deal that we're even there. And we're trying to choreograph this line, and same kind of deal. Kevin or Dennis McCoy has speed off a line, and they're asking him to hit his brakes, just tap his brakes and go under an inliner.
No way.
And he would not do it. He's
Hell,
like,
McCoy. Respect, man. Respect. You got to understand how this works. You don't go under that guy.
He's like, I'll never go under.
The politics and the behind the scenes thing, like people get invited and they're like, I'm banning that. I'm not doing that in the Olympics. And it was just like, dude, we're going to be seen for a minute and a half.
Nobody's going to know.
It's going to be the worst camera angles.
And no one cares.
No one cares, but we wanted to do it. But the story from that trip was that Andy didn't get, okay, how did it work? You didn't get a direct invite.
I didn't get invited. Like it's just an invite to the closing ceremonies. And I was like #1 vert skater, best overall. It was 96. Like I was like top of my game.
Wait,
and
Olympics
I didn't get
like Andy Macdonald?
It was because I don't even know. Somehow someone else was appointed to choose the crew.
Oh, say no
and
more.
It was like a bro.
So the whole
no, I already. Yep.
I was not a bro.
Yep,
and
I know.
so these guys are all getting paid, their flights, whatever. And I get on the phone with somebody, whoever, and I'm like, I need to be there. I'll pay for my flight. I'll do, so I get my invite because I forced my way in. But I had to fly in separately, pay for my own shit, and I paid for a rental car. But I wasn't 25 yet. And when you're under 25 in the States, you can rent the car through your company, through like my sponsor was Human Skateboards. So through my company, I could rent the car, but they forced me because I was under 25 to buy extra insurance. So it was extra expensive because so now I have my car insurance, the insurance from my credit card, American Express, and I bought extra insurance through Enterprise Rental Car. So Enterprise Rental Car, fuck you. When you hear this story,
For real.
I never heard you say fuck anybody. This has got to be now.
Here's
Wow.
So
I would always ride with him because we were, it was 96 Olympics was when that bombing happened. So security was super high. And we were rehearsing on a military base, but staying at some, I don't even know, Super 8 or something down the street. Sharing
Motel
rooms.
6. It was Motel 6.
Motel 6, sharing rooms.
Downtown Atlanta,
Yeah.
Sketchyville. And
It was the real deal.
And the first day we go into practice, I drove my rental car and they're all in the van ahead of me. And we call out and there's like military police and you're going onto a military base and the van, whoever was driving the van didn't go, and the car behind us. Oh. So they go through and I don't know where I'm going. So I pull up and I have to convince, no, I'm with them. Let me in. And meanwhile, they're just down the road. So I'm like, oh shit, I don't know where they're going. So I'm speeding to catch up to them. And woo, military police pull in behind me and like hands on their guns, step out of the car. Like I'm like, and they write me a ticket. Like you have a speeding ticket. A speeding ticket. God. So this is how my this is how my experience
getting a speeding ticket on a military
base.
It's military police. It's not. You got to deal with it through the military.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It's gnarly. So I'm like, whatever. We got to go to practice. I take the ticket and I put it in the glove box and forget about it for the day because we go to practice and we're trying to get our routines down. Right. Next morning, we go back to the hotel. I park my car in a lit parking lot with a security guard.
Yeah.
Right. And we go in.
and
awesome. Tony and I were like, hey, let's get up, early tomorrow before practice and go get
Waffle House.
Yeah, whatever. We're going to get breakfast. And we walk over to my car and it's not there. And Tony's like, all right, who's fucking with Andy?
So I start knocking on rooms because I'm convinced someone just is messing with Andy.
Yeah.
Right? Because
it seems like at this point, you don't need to be
it's
harassed
Frasier.
anymore.
It's like Frasier, Tom Boyle, Neil Hendricks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like
somebody's fucking with
Andy. It's all
Andy.
the jokesters.
Yeah. So we're like waking people up. Frasier's like blurry eyed, like, nah, dude.
Like, who's messing with Andy? Like, what do you mean? Well, his car is gone. And laughter. Every time.
Why is everyone laughing at you for losing your car?
My car got stolen.
Okay.
So the car gets stolen and we go on with the rest of the Olympics. It's great, blah, blah, blah. But the car was stolen and used for a drive-by shooting and got all shot up. And I get months later a notice from Enterprise Rental Car saying that the car's been totaled and you're liable as if you were drunk driving the car.
For the whole cost.
You have to pay for the cost of the $30,000 car.
Yeah.
You owe us $30,000.
I thought you had like the craziest.
And I said, you made me get your insurance.
Yeah.
Fast forward 2 years of legal litigation, whatever, we had to settle because my insurance company sued me.
Why?
I don't know. I thought you were supposed to have insurance.
When you rent a car, you're like, do you want all the coverage? And you're like, nah.
Yeah.
He said yes.
I wanted all the coverage. I was forced to say yes because I was under 25. They made me get more insurance. Right. So I was covered by my insurance. I was covered by insurance on the American Express card and by Enterprise insurance. And it still cost Human Skateboards like $5,000. Everybody had to pay a little bit to pay for this car that got stolen out of a freaking lit parking lot. And
yeah, what about the ticket?
The speeding
for
ticket
the
was
demo
in
he's going to do for no money.
Do you have a warrant for your arrest?
And the speeding ticket was in the glove box.
So
I remember calling the junkyard. Somehow I got a hold of the junkyard where the car was. And I talked to the guy and I'm like, hey man, can you walk out to that car? And I need the speeding ticket that's in the glove box. And I got this guy and the car had been all shot up and then it had rained. And the guy gets the speeding ticket out and it was like all wet from like being whatever. And he was able to read like some number on it. And I called the military police and was like, I have to pay this fine, blah, blah, blah. But you'll never guess what happened. That was my experience.
I got a crazy story for you.
From first Olympic experience. I'm looking for a better Olympic experience next time.
It feels like, because I know that I that's why I apologized to you recently, because I look back at those days and think, man, out of anybody, you're the most pure skateboarder out of all of us. And I shit on you because, I don't know, you did fronts and airs differently. I don't know which one. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely not a valid reason.
Those days just for being sober.
Yeah, I never, as a drug alcoholic guy, I never frowned upon you for your sobriety. I always had a thing of envy. Like I knew that I was blowing it the whole time. I was like, if I lived like him, I'd be a better skateboarder, which would mean that I'd be happier. But I was
from
getting high.
Skateboarding in the 1990s, like it wasn't cool to be not.
I know,
not the partier.
I know,
but I remember Jake Phelps before I was even anything. Jake Phelps is from Boston. You know that?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
He's from Boston, born and raised, and so am I. So we were skating the Cambridge Bowl together, and I was like 12 years old and didn't drink or smoke because I was fucking 12 years old.
Yeah.
And Jake was since I was, and then I was coming up and like skating with Fred Smith, and they used to call me Wonder Boy, but I still didn't drink or smoke. And Jake Phelps was just like, you don't party enough.
Yeah.
You skate too much. And I was always like, can you skate too much? You don't party enough. And like that just became like the thing. But I get what he's saying.
Yeah, I think he might have told me that a couple of times, and I was drunk and on drugs. So he really wanted people to get high.
But truly talk about a hardcore devoted skater, to go through all that and then to be skating at your level, obviously for not for the compensation, because that doesn't exist the way it used to.
Yeah.
Just for the heart of it. I mean, he's here on the ramp sometimes 9 a.m. alone.
Right.
Cup cam. Doing 720s. This guy.
Shout out to Cup Cam.
I mean, he's like hardcore skater at heart. Like, dude, whatever.
And what I was trying to get to is the shit that you took, like if the van leaving you, somebody in that van is like, whatever, because you're sober or because of whatever thing that everyone wanted to jump on the bandwagon of, like, if you're not really cool, then it's okay to shit on you. And I'm like, shit on one of us to the point where his life is really inconvenienced. And you're like, ha ha. Like, that's why I apologize, because I didn't think that you even cared, but I thought there were times there where I was only thinking about myself, and I didn't think that my opinion or a gesture or just saying something mean meant anything. And then when I have the same thing happen to me, I'm like, man, I feel really hurt by these people talking shit. And I'm like, you ever talk shit on anyone, Jason? Fuck. Yeah, a lot. And some people I won't apologize to because they had it coming. But you, one of the greater skateboarders that ever lived, one of the nicest people that I've ever met. And somehow I'm like, fuck Andy Macdonald. I can quite easily say that. So the thing that you've done, you're inspiring to me to be this old and to still skate as good as you do. But even if you'd retired, the way you skated and the way you love skateboarding, and to know that a lot of us, I know that it was an era where you shit on everybody, but it's the most pure kind of skateboarder. And not only did you not get like hoisted on everybody's shoulders and be like, look at this guy, people shit on you.
I think it made me part of who I am. Like, it made me want to
Resilient,
try
you
that.
think?
Yeah, I think that, like, because it wasn't like, if maybe people used to say, like, if I would ever get down about it, my friends would be like, maybe you should just start fucking drinking and wearing black all the time, like just like be what they want you to be or whatever. And I was just like, but that's not me. That's not who I am. I wear a fucking yellow helmet and like bright colors.
Also
and like
ridiculous.
doing
Yeah, that was
tricks.
annoying too. I was like, people yellow helmet. I don't know how you did it, but I was like, worst choice ever.
He went black for a while.
There was
for
something.
a hot minute.
I now know what it was. You had cargo pants once, and your pocket was coming out the bottom of your cargo pants. And I'm like, dude,
so illegal.
What are you doing? That triggered me for like a year. I was like, this guy doesn't even care that his pockets are longer than his shorts. He just goes anyway.
Care less.
Yeah.
I had zip off pants, dude. I used to have the zip off.
See what I mean?
Like, because it was the easiest way to skate street and vert in the same event. And I sometimes have to run between events.
But you had zip on pants.
Yeah. Exactly. Zip them on, go skate street. Zip them on, skate.
You're still not letting go. You're still upset by it. You almost came full circle to apologize, but you stop at the zip-off pants.
I have to stop at the zip-off pants. You were asking for it.
I want to make amends, Andy.
No.
But I draw the line at zip-off pants.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
statement.
I didn't care. In fact, I kind of did it to spite you. You know, like because I
well
knew
played, at
some point I knew that the yellow helmet was pissing people off, and I was like, "Fuck it," you know.
I love that a yellow helmet pissed people
I know, right?
off. Like how much?
Is this really gonna spoil your day? Fucking click.
What a troubled child. But anyway, everybody is skateboarding. If you ever see Andy Macdonald, you should say thank you. And if you ever talk shit back in the day, you should apologize because this is a real guy right here. One of the realest skateboarders that ever lived.
This guy has a bag of tricks that is so deep.
I know.
And I mean, we do demos. We have done many demos.
A lot of demos.
And even to this day, he wins the demo.
Yeah.
You know,
trying to win the demo.
What's that?
I'm trying to win the demo.
but with just tricks, but also like super hard tricks in the 80s, blindside stuff, you know, like 540 boneless. You know,
doing it a long time.
It's wild. And it's been an honor to bear witness to it. It's been an honor to be in doubles with you, to be an advocate. And, you know, I walk the line. I'm all here and there and whatever, but this guy, like, he's got it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that I lived long enough to tell you to your face what a good guy you are. Because I feel bad. I will always feel bad about that.
I had a guy.
You didn't deserve it, dude.
The guy that owned the skate shop, Coliseum Skate Shop, where PJ Ladd's from.
Yeah.
That guy is the brother of my best friend, childhood friend. And he started the skate shop. It started blowing up. And it's from the town that I grew up in. Still doesn't have I have a skate park now. But like, this is where I started skateboarding and like my career, you know, graduated high school, moved to California, dream come true, pro skateboarder. This skate shop never carried my board, never supported me in the least. And he had some heart condition or whatever, like he just, something life-changing, whatever. And he called me out of the blue one day. I never talked to this dude. I never really gave it a thought. I was just like, that's kind of weird, but I don't care. I'm beyond, you know, like same kind of thing. Like it makes me want it more to like, if people are going to talk shit, I'm going to do it even more just to prove them wrong.
It doesn't change the fact that everybody needs to apologize.
So this guy called me to apologize, and he was just like, "I'm sorry, I should have supported you." And like, because the skate shop's long gone, and this, you know, he doesn't do it anymore, whatever. But he just felt like after all these years, like I owe this guy an apology, and I was just like, and I was like, "Too late, bitch."
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Hey, no, you fucking did not. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I wish that I did.
I take all my apologies back.
We can edit the show. We can edit the show.
Oh, just cut it at that. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Never liked any of you. Yeah. Look, that's this. When you're talking about a guy that had a heart condition and thought he was going to die, this is not entirely why I apologize, but I also had a heart condition where I thought that it's going to end soon. Yeah. And when you think that you don't have that many days, everything is in a different perspective. And it was very clear to me that you deserve way more than my apology. Like everybody, all you motherfuckers that were out there hanging out, you all need to fucking text him and say it. Even if he doesn't care, even if he goes, "It's too late, motherfucker," you still need to do it because
he's going to group text everyone. Too late.
No, I also think that we get older and we get more mature, and like you've in just the past 5-10 years become like this person that, you know, like you weren't that person when you and I were on tour and traveling together. And when he first walked in, I was like, I was driving over here. Like I have pictures of Jason Ellis sleeping, like passed out in my knee pads, like face down in he was a different animal then. And you've come such a long way, and you've become this whole other person, and you more mature, and like, you know about yourself, you know shit about yourself now. Yeah. That you didn't then, and you wouldn't know and so you're just like, fuck, I'm gonna set shit straight. So
try to anyway.
Props to you.
Yeah, back
for
at
that.
you, dude.
So great. Well, thanks, Andy, for joining us. It was awesome. And
thanks for having me.
We are skating together. The next demo we're doing is the Weekend Jam in Vegas. Annie is one of the headliners. You get to see him.
I'm going to try and win the demo.
He's definitely going to win the demo because I'm going to be scattered running from stage to stage and trying to remember doubles routines. But he'll have all the tricks.
We'll get Old Faithful.
Dude.
Old Faithful with my shitty Indy 360 under your back style.
Maybe, well, you know what? For that crowd, if you buy tickets to the event, we'll do a 720 thing. He'll do the 720. And I'll go on there.
Please, somebody hold them up to it.
Come on, his username's AndyMac720. He's got to still do some.
I'll still do a 7. I'll throw it.
Until you change that username, we expect a 720.
Okay.
All right.
I got to work on that.
Thanks, dudes.
Username.
Thanks, everybody, for watching, listening, subscribing, liking, and describing. See you.
Yeah, like and describe. Get a cup cam.
Cup cam.
See you guys.
Peace.